That real hip hop.
Y'all know how we do.
You're listening to Free Zone Matthias, aka Mr. 16 Bars. That real hip hop.
We try to tell people that Philly is a special breed. They hate to see us on top, they hate to see us on. They hate to see us come up, they hate we on. They hate the moves that we make because it's made to break them. We give them knowledge on tracks and hope our words can save them. I guess it's hard to get props when you know you lesser. So we right on your heels, I hope you feel the pressure. Rappers taking a roll, my shoes that never fit them. Before you come at it.
Welcome to this episode of Philly on the Rise. As you know, I am your host, Michael W. Pleasant, and this week we're actually joined by an amazing woman who has had an impact, a remarkable impact on the children of America for 30 plus years. Dr. Cade, welcome to Philly on the Rise. How are you?
I'm doing well, Michael. How are you today?
Things are well, things are well. As mentioned, you have been touching the lives, serving the lives of America's children for 30 plus years. What's been your motivation?
Well, I guess my driving force has been giving back. I really believe that when life is giving you a lot, then you have a responsibility to give that back. And so I'm one of those people who firmly believes that as you lead, you lift. And so I feel a ethical obligation to open doors for others as doors have been opened for me.
An amazing career in 2023, you received national recognition as a member of President Biden's commission. Talk to us about that.
Wow. There's really no words that can really encapsulate my feelings about getting a presidential appointment to this commission. Words that pop out in my mind are humbling, transformational. I can think of no bigger honor than serving my country through this work with the commissioners. I don't even know how they let me in the room, right? With all of these renowned leaders, less than uh, 1% of Americans get this chance to serve on a presidential commission. And I feel very humbled because a lot of times in this work of education and community service is thankless work. To have your work be recognized for the multiple states that I've worked in, for the decades of service that I've given, is the biggest thank you that anyone can receive. And I'm just so grateful to the person who recommended me for this distinctive honor. And I walk away with these lasting relationships with the other commissioners. Shout out to Executive Director of PA Public Relations Commission, Human Relations Commission, Chad Lassiter, who also served on the commission with me. And of course, your state representative, Malcolm Kenyatta, the likes of the people who sat at the table. But it goes to say that education and service, and I believe that my lived experiences brought value to these conversations, and be I will forever cherish the memory of that opportunity to serve my country and to represent populations of people, from a ward of the state to a presidential commissioner. I firmly believe that my foundational experiences have shaped me and they've allowed me to remain in a position of humility and uplifting the humanity of others. And so humble and transformational are the two words that really are the best that I can do to encapsulate this experience.
You talk about your lived experience, and your story is quite remarkable from where you began to where you are now, because it did begin as a ward of the state. What's that journey been like from you, starting as a ward of the state to where you are now?
Yeah, I guess my childhood memories of, leaving my family at the age of 6 because of my mother's medical condition and struggles with mental health. Um, you know, I believe that those experiences have allowed me to become the person that I am today. It has given me a sense of resilience. I have persevered through my own challenges, attending 9 different public schools from kindergarten to 12th grade. Being a neurodiverse learner, I have dyslexia. And initially, I thought that these things limited my potential, but through my faith in God and through opportunities to be lifted by others and to have the supports that I need and to have access to the opportunities, I know now that these things have only made me limitless in my potential. I have a unique ability to connect with our most vulnerable members of our community because I understand the plight that I've lived in. And I can have room and have a conversation with decisions I've also lived at. And so I know that through my faith in God, I have been set aside for a purpose to do certain things. And initially, I felt like my childhood traumas and some of my adult traumas were limitations, but I know now that they were preparation to inspire the next generation, to uplift other other people of color, to validate that lived experiences are just as valuable as our professional training and our educational accolades. But most importantly, I always think about what Maya Angelou said. People will always remember how you made them feel. They may not remember what you said to them, they may not remember what you taught them, but they will always remember how you made them feel. And so that experience as a ward of the state has shaped my persistence in believing that love driven leadership is the path forward and that anyone can achieve what I've achieved, but they need the support and they need the opportunities.
Such an amazing and remarkable story you have had, being able to overcome so much and to get to the point where you are now. You've got quite a few other accolades. You are a public speaker, members of tons of different community organizations, as well as the sorority of which you've been a part of for 40 plus years.
Absolutely. I believe that my existence embodies service to others. That is a part of my purpose. And so many people look at my portfolio of service to the community and they're like, oh my God, they're overwhelmed. But I believe my membership in Big Brothers Big Sisters and serving on the executive board of Big Brothers Big Sisters of Delaware, actually serving as the treasurer, is very special to me. As a child who grew up in the group home, I had a big sister. And what she did for me at the age of 10 is something that I have a responsibility to ensure other children have access to. And so I serve on the board for Big Brothers Big Sisters because of how it changed the trajectory of my life. United Way of Delaware and New Jersey, a very compelling mission to really help empower disenfranchised communities is, I believe in the mission of the organization. Of course, my work with the Delaware Association of Black School Educators and being a founding member and serving as the second vice president, I am a relentless advocate for education because that is the cornerstone of why I have had the opportunities to walk through those doors, to have the opportunities that I've had. And so that's very near and dear to my heart. And the Bay Health Foundation Women's Leadership Council, no one can negate the challenges and the disparities in access to high quality health that people in disenfranchised communities and communities of colors face regularly. And so giving back through the foundation, through philanthropic giving and raising money is very important to me, particularly in the part of the state in Kent County and where we see limited access to certain health care, particularly women's health care, reproductive health. We have limited doctors in the state of Delaware. And so I serve on that foundation, Women's Leadership Board, because it's important to me. And then my role as an executive board member with the NAACP, it's a legacy organization. It is the foundation of human rights beyond civil rights, that everyone deserves to have their dignity in America, regardless of their zip code, regardless of their race, their ethnicity. We all are deserving of our civil rights. And so the NAACP, I've been a member of the NAACP in New York City. I've been a member of the NAACP in Ohio. I've been a member of the NAACP in almost every state that I've lived in, because the work of edifying the plight of African Americans in America is quintessential to me as an African American. And understanding that this work is about bringing abolitionists or sympathetic whites who understand the structural issues that African Americans face, the macro and microaggressions of some of the institutional practices that systematically disadvantage people based on race and gender sometimes, is quintessentially important to me as an African American woman, and just as a citizen of the United States. And then finally, my heartbeat, Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. And I always say the greatest sorority in the world whenever I say it. 40 years in 2026, I have been working tirelessly to uplift the tenets of my sorority in every community that I've lived in, to edify sisterhood, service, find a womanhood, and scholarship is the foundation and the vein of my existence. And in 2020, when we celebrated our 100th year of existence, I was so humbled and honored to receive the Centennial Dove Award for Educational Advocacy. And I was the only Zeta of over 200,000 sorority sisters in the United States and internationally, in Japan and in Africa and in Germany, to receive that distinction. And I want to acknowledge our Centennial President, Dr. Valerie Hollingsworth Baker, for selecting me for that honor. And I feel very deeply that I represent the ideals of our founders of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority. And so these are vehicles, the organizations that I give my time, my money, my efforts to, are vehicles of leading and lifting. And finally, I cannot not talk about the State University of New York at New Paltz and serving on the foundation board for the college that gave me my launch. When I left my family and the love of my household at the age of 6, I didn't stay any place for more than 4 years until I got to college. That stability, that consistency, the love that I received from Dr. Zelbert Moore, may he rest in peace. Dr. Tomas Morales, who was the Director of Educational Opportunities Programs, and Dr. James Grant, the Vice President of Administration, may he rest in peace. These 3 men were surrogates as fathers, because my father died at 10, when I was 10 years old. They helped me to navigate systems and made sure within those 4 years that I received the supports that I needed in order to excel. And in fact, Dr. Zelbert Moore followed me in my career until he died last year. He was like a surrogate father. He made sure I applied for graduate colleges. He told me I was going to get a PhD before I knew that I was going to manifest that PhD. And, that consistency and that coherence and that love and that support, I have a responsibility. And so my work as a servant in my community, it embodies who I am.
An amazing, amazing story. And God has been with you every step of the way of this journey that you have been on. There's more to the story. There's a cherry on top, if you will, because you're also a published author. You have the book that you penned, If Not for Love. What are you hoping
Oh.
that people get from the book?
Well, If Not for Love is an autobiographic book, and it is my first book. I have another book that I've published also, Let Love Liberate You. And now I am currently working on a book that focuses on creating organizational vision in digital time and releasing a new leadership paradigm, love-driven leadership. I believe that God's existence embodies love. And if not for love is the story of my life, of my childhood traumas, and coming full circle to the understanding to forgive my mother because I held resentment and issues of abandonment against her because I didn't understand her needs. But through God's love for me, I was able to understand and revitalize the love that I had for my mother and see my mother's contributions. My mother was my biggest advocate. My mother was an educational advocate. And everything that I embody goes back to God's love. And I'm hoping what people will get from that is not that, oh, this lady had such a tragic life, because I also talk about my adult trauma of losing my first son. And then moving beyond that to revitalizing my relationship with my mother to have my mother die. But what I want people to walk away with from that book is one, if not for God's love, where would we be? Where would any of us be? And it is love that is the driving force that allows each of us to become the people that we are. And that we must remember that it is love, hope, and faith that we need now more than ever. It is the thing that has allowed me to not just survive, but to thrive and to soar. If not for God's love, I really don't know where I would be, because at every devastating point in my life, God sent someone to revitalize my hope, whether it was my big sister from Big Brother's Big Sister, whether it was the older lady who, when I was taking my son to the children's hospital where he died, who met me on the plane and drove me to the Ronald McDonald House, or whether it was the counselor who helped me to buy my first pair of sneakers, because all of my clothes when I was in the group home came from Goodwill and secondhand stores. And I brought my first pair of sneakers. I saved $6 and my counselor gave me $5. And I brought my first pair of Converse Chucks at the age of 11. That taught me the value of hard work. And it taught me that when you put your best foot forward, God sends someone to meet you there. But you've got to have that faith and you've got to do the work. And so I hope that people walk away with a sense of hope, with understanding the significance of faith, but most importantly, the value of God's love.
The value of God's love, so very true, so very important. You are a super busy individual, but when there is downtime, if ever there is downtime, there's a couple things you enjoy. I understand there's a little bit of karaoke. I guess you're going
Oh,
out trying to sing a little bit of Whitney Houston. Is that what the deal is?
Oh no, listen, I'm no Whitney Houston, but I have my own karaoke machine, and prior to the pandemic, and before I became a CEO of schools and then a CEO of a nonprofit, Friday nights was set aside for my close friends and I to sing karaoke, and so I am I love karaoke. I love to sing. Music is such an enchanting way to take us on a journey of healing, a journey of empowerment, whatever that mood is that you're in. And so I love to sing. And my other love, the thing that I do to energize myself is I love travel. I love to travel internationally and I love to travel within the United States. I have a trip coming up to Tuscany, Italy, and I'm looking forward to that. And I took a quick trip to Jamaica recently. My husband loves to go to Puerto Rico. That's his place. But I'm looking forward to going to Nashville, Tennessee for my sororities international convention because I also love country music, which a girl from Brooklyn shouldn't, but my mom loved country music and I realized that was something that I got from her. So I'm going to go see Dollyland and I'm going to go check out Johnny Cash and I am going to take in American country culture and I'm going to find me one of those pubs and bars and I'm going to sing me some karaoke while I'm there.
Well, Dr. Cade, you mentioned the word journey earlier, and thank you so much for taking us through your journey because it has been an amazing life to live. There's so much more left for you to do and accomplish in this world, but we're so grateful of what you have been able to overcome and what you have been able to do. Congratulations to you and much success to come in the future.
Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you for the work that you're doing to get our stories out there because everyone's story matters. We're all special because we exist. And every day that we wake up, we have an opportunity to do something to be a blessing to someone else. And that is what I wish every day when I wake up. God, just let me be a blessing to someone today and help me to walk in love. And some days it's harder than others, but I am grateful. I'm grateful for this opportunity and thank you for allowing me to share my story and to shine a love light on faith, hope, and love.
Shining the love light. Thank you, Dr. Cade. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye. Bye, everybody. Bye.